This is a story of lies and deception. A story about a conspiracy shrouded in mystery for over 2 decades. This is the story of the truth behind it.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
It's the year 2000. Y2K is looming on the horizon, and the only thing keeping our minds at ease is the theatrical release of Rugrats in Paris, the second installment in a trilogy of Rugrats films, soon to be followed up by Rugrats Go Wild, a landmark crossover of epic proportions as the Wild Thornberrys join the Rugrats in crazy antics, accompanied by Bruce Willis and the sweet, sweet smell of Odorama, which were scratch and sniff cards handed out at theaters, Blockbusters, and Burger Kings with cued smells to accompany the movie. Stop. Smell number 2 on your card. Ooh, peanut butter. Now you know what peanut butter smells like. Pretty neat. That's immersion. The same novelty would later be followed up with such things as the 127 Hours Bone Saw, so you can feel the real pain! Rugrats in Paris served as the launching pad for sure-to-be hit Who Let the Dogs Out. The tune had already been featured as the walk-up song for Seattle Mariners shortstop Alex Rodriguez for several months, but Rugrats marked the shift from weird pump-up jam to repetitive gimmick that will not die. It soon played at awards shows, sporting events, elementary school walkathons. It won a freaking Grammy. They beat out Little Bow Wow at the Kids' Choice Awards. Big year for dogs, apparently. But the mystery was yet to unfold.
Go back to the island, boy.
The Baja Men had been a group for 20 years prior. Starting under the name High Voltage in 1977, they eventually became the Baja Boys. And we all know what happens to boys. They become Baja Men. The Baja Men continue to perform in hotels and nightclubs with their signature Junkanoo style all around the Bahamas. And then it happened. They came upon a hit. And by they, I mean a rich white guy. Steve Greenberg, who was famous for the success of the popular group Hanson and would later go on to sign the Jonas Brothers. That's right. I'm sorry to break the news to you, but the Baja Men did not write Who Let the Dogs Out. The Baja Men originally turned down the offer to record the jam multiple times because it had already been a success in the world of Junkanoo music. Written and performed by Anselm Douglas in 1998, his version titled Doggy had already made a name for itself as just being so good.
Who let the dogs out?
Douglas had written a song he considered to be a feminist manifesto about men catcalling a group of women at a party, yelling such phrases as millibug and skettle. When a lady shouts, "Hey, who let the dogs out?" Right, ladies? I just fixed sexual harassment. Greenberg went to the Baja Men and was like, "Hey, record this." And the Baja Men were like, "No, it's already been done." And he was like, "But it's gonna be a hit. What about money?" And the Baja Men were like, the lead singer quit, and they hired 3 new frontmen who were way younger than the rest of the band to continue this totally authentic journey. And then they created the greatest earworm of the 21st century, setting the stage for your annoying friend who always makes that one joke, "Hey, no, but guys, who really let the dogs out?" A hilarious bit rivaled only by, "But what is Victoria's Secret? What is it? Honestly, what secret could a woman who prances around in her underwear be hiding?" But it was as the cash rolled in, so did the secrets. Victoria's Secret. It came to light that the song Anselm Douglas had written, which the Baja Men covered, turned out to be not so written by Anselm Douglas as we had previously thought. As it turns out, 2 production assistants for a radio station in Ontario, Canada, had written an identical radio jingle 3 years prior in 1995, using the phrase, "Who let the dogs out? Who. You could shrug it off as a coincidence if it weren't for the fact that Anselm Douglas's brother-in-law worked at the same radio station. And then they sued Anselm Douglas for copyright. Then the guy who wrote the music for the Anselm Douglas version sued him for credit of the melody. And it was a whole shit show because there's also this song from 1994.
Who let them dogs loose? Who let them dogs loose?
And they didn't sue anybody, even though their version clearly got ripped by the guys claiming to write their radio jingle.
That's the way theirs goes. Ours goes ding, 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 ding.
There are versions of this chorus dating back years before this, and rumor has it that the whole thing started out as just a chant for a football team. Friendships were ruined, careers were destroyed, and the rich white guys came out on top. Finally. And this is kind of a side tangent, but there's this one episode of Flight of the Conchords where they write a song called Doggy Bounce, and it gets stolen by another group who makes it famous, but then it turns out that the song was originally written in another country, and I can't help but feel like that whole storyline just mirrors Who Let the Dogs Out.
Bounce, bounce, doggy bounce. Bounce,
Do the doggy bounce.
Can somebody who knows Brett and Jermaine ask if that's what's going on here?
Okay.
Very similar.
Now, the only problem is, this cover version came out 13 years before the Crazy Dogs' original version. Is that bad? Or do you think that's normal?
I think it's probably bad.
The Baja Men still perform and release music, even though they've changed their roster of talent, currently staffed with more new members than original members, but the cycle of Baja Boys is never truly complete. But what do all of these lawsuits and fights say about us as people? This version isn't as good as this version, which isn't as good as this version, and if this version had never been made, then that version would have never been heard. And what's right? Who owns ideas? And to what extent does it matter? So in the spirit of the Baja Men, go out and steal somebody else's idea. With that said, there's a documentary called Who Let the Dogs Out that basically tells the same exact story in way more detail, but that doesn't matter, okay? I love you, bye.
Who let the dogs out?